on the cover of that mag. And that's going to bring us to just about the top of the hour. And we're going to start talking about today's training focus, which is preparing appropriately for the business planning clinic. Now, looking at who's in the room, I know that there are a lot of you who have attended a business planning clinic before, and I know that there's a lot of you who haven't. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be covering, as you can see on the screen, goal setting, strategies, models, systems, support. This is a training course, an activity course is probably the best way to describe it, based off of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And we are going to start with a strong foundation of getting our minds right, getting the mindset nailed. And then we're going to focus on economic models, lead generation models, budget models, and organizational models to set ourselves up to grow a big business that's going to fund our perfect life, right? Now, one of the challenges is that context matters, right? Who we are, where we are, what we're doing, what we've done is really important to informing how we'll go forward, right? And as the Small Business Administration says, there are two things necessary for a successful small business. Number one is it has to be appropriately capitalized. Number two, there has to be a detailed written business plan. Well, in the industry of real estate, and for us as residential real estate business owners, that capitalization piece is very low because we know we have a model of leading with revenue, right? When we focus on our sphere, we focus on lead generation that is not cost-based. We can generate revenue first and capitalize our own business. So the place that we really need to fill in is this detailed business plan. So instead of having, 150 to 200 people walk into the room on November 8th and start a conversation about what it might look like to build this detailed business plan and then find ourselves without all of the information and context that we need, we want to focus on today and over the course of the next 33 days as we march towards that event. What are the things that we need to do ahead of time to be able to maximize that opportunity? This is no different than preparing to show a house, preparing a listing presentation, preparing for a buyer consultation, preparing for an interview, whatever it is, we're going to prepare. And so the number one thing that we need to do is be there. 90% of life is showing up. And so if you are not there, you are not going to be able to take advantage of our biggest and best training event of the year. So get your ticket now. And if I had to guess, you can go in the chat box right now and click a link and get your ticket. Number two is get your mind right. You know, when we talk about our mission, about lives worth living and legacies worth leaving and experiences worth giving, it's not just about us, right? Many times we talk about how real estate is a community-based business and we have big impacts on our communities. And when you come to the business planning clinic, hell, when you're a part of this company, you're asked to think bigger. And you are asked to strive to live your best life. And we'd be remiss not to acknowledge the fact that your best life is going to involve some other people. So I want you to go have a conversation with your children, your spouse, your family, whomever it is that is in your circle, right? Could just be your mentors or your closest friends. Talk to them about what they think is possible for next year. Ask your family what they want next year to look like. Think about your charities, the causes that you have. Maybe you're carrying debt and maybe next year is just about getting out of debt. That's awesome. But have the conversation with the other people in your life, because even though we're entrepreneurs and even though we're independent contractors and even though sometimes it feels like we're a one man or woman army, right? We're a part of a larger community and we need to pull that conversation. We need to pull our people together, if only to remind ourselves what a substantial impact we can have when we're successful. So find time on the calendar, text your husband or wife right now and say, hey, dinner Thursday night. We're going to do, a digital detox during dinner, and we're going to talk about what we want to do as a family during 2022. And then we're going to know our numbers. Now, this is always a theme with me, but it's going to be a big theme for Business Planning Clinic. I want you to know your numbers, because as we build out our business plan, we have to understand what we're trying to accomplish. And what we're trying to accomplish has a price tag, right? So when we know the life that we want to live next year and in the next 5 years, right, that's going to inform what has to happen from a financial standpoint for us in our business. And too many times folks walk into the business planning room and we say, what do you want to make next year? And it wouldn't take very many guesses for you to figure out that everybody wants to make $100,000. And I'm here to tell you that that's great if that's the number. But I actually think that there's a few different numbers that we need to consider, right? What is the must number? What must you make to keep the lights on, put food on the table, stay in this industry? Because those who stay in this industry thrive in this industry. And so what do we need to do? How many dollars and cents is it for you that you must make? Then what should you make? Like what would be progress, right? Well, I can chip away at my student loan debt, or we can take the vacation if I make X. And then what's the nice pay scale? Where are you living your best life? How are you firing on all cylinders? You're doing what you want. You're not denying yourself the side of guac at Chipotle at that point. Like, what is the dollar amount that you make there? Because when you have the context of these three numbers and you know them coming in, what is amazing is when your eyes open up to the fact that the difference between what you must make for survival and what would be nice to make to do anything and everything that you wanted for your family, is the gap is seldom very large, right? And so it is well within our capacity. No one's nice scale right now is the difference, must to nice is the difference between 10 homes and 100 homes, right? It might be 15 homes and 30 homes. And a 15 home delta might seem big. That's doubling the business. But I'm looking at people on this call right now that have more than doubled their business this year, right? And so it is possible with the right plan, as long as we know where we're going. Number 4, know your numbers. I want you to take a look at your total business from 2020 and 2021. And if you're only in the business 6 months, that's fine. You're only in the business 6 days, also fine. Those numbers are easy to pull together. But I want you to go all the way back to 2020 just to make sure that we're aggregating a maximum number of maximum amount of business so that we can sort through as much data as possible. I want you to understand from a business standpoint, what was my listings to buyer ratio? How many appointments did I go on? What was my average sales price? What was my average commission? How many people are in my database, right? How many leads did I get? How many appointments did I go on? How many buyer broker agreements or listing agreements did I sign? Your conversion rates will be very important. If you have to guess, take the time to guess now and think about it versus having to guess in the moment. But pull together all the information you can around the deals that you did. Where did you do them? How did you come by them? All that. And then to build on that, knowing those numbers, your deal type, your lead source, your database size, right? We're coming in, we know that I've got 400 people in my database and 100 of them were new leads last year. I know that I did 37 listing appointments and I got 7 listings. Hey, maybe there's a training gap there, right? And also understand where your business came from. This might be the most hypercritical thing that we think we know, but when we actually go, pull your MLS stats, go on the MLS, search by your license number, pull all the deals in the last 540 days, and then look. Okay, there was the buyer for Cleveland Heights. Where did they come from? Oh, okay, here's my buyer for Rocky River. Okay, here's my listing in Fairview Park. Where did that come from? And write it out. Understand your lead sources. Number 6, marketing is always a really shiny object in these conversations. I just want you to pull together what's everything that you did. All of your just solds, just listeds, your mailers, your newsletters, your Facebook posts, pull it together. There's 2 things that we're going to look for and talk about, and it's about consistency and competency. And I'll tell you what, most people want nicer, slicker, shinier, cleaner marketing, and they want to sit there and fidget and do all these different things to what font should I use for sold that's going to overlay the picture of this house with my client in front of it. And they post one of those every 18 weeks, and that is considered marketing. Consistency is our big opportunity from a marketing standpoint of just being in the face of our clients, but you will not have a strong enough appreciation for that if you don't pull together everything that you've done from a marketing standpoint and understand when you did it, why you did it, and what it did. All right, number 7, this is a big one because we are our business. And when we make investments in our business, we're actually talking about making investments in ourselves. So I want you to take a look back, and I'll tell you, one of the best reasons to keep a strong calendar is not because if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Because at the end of the year, you can pull out, or at this time of year, you can pull out your 2021 day planner or print on a monthly format, your Google Calendar that you've kept up to date and accurate, and see where you invested time, training, and resources. Resource being time, where you've done that, and then see if that lines up with your business. Hey, I attended all of the multiple offer classes. I went to all of the Ignite sessions around buyer consultations, and boy, man, my buyer ratio, my buyer conversion rate is much higher than listings. Okay, so now guess what we're going to talk about the business planning clinic is where to invest your time, energy, and resources next year from a training standpoint. But pull all that together, because if you just think like, I went to trainings, I went to the sales meeting, which ones did you really attend? What did you take notes on? And then, guys, I'm sorry, but we just have to do it. At some point, we have to look in the mirror on what's the money that we spend. Maybe you're that spouse that does it for the other one. Maybe the other one does it for you. This is why the very second thing is to involve your family in the conversation. But we have to know what the return on investment is here, right? And we have to understand where we're spending money. Is it in memberships? Is it in meals and entertainment? Is it in marketing, right? Because when we have done step 5 and we know where our deals came from, and then we get to step 8 and we're having conversations about where we're spending money, there's going to be I guarantee you there will be alignment. And I also guarantee you that there will be gaps. And you will say, I cannot believe I did not get a single deal from X. And I spent 10% of my total budget on it, right? That awareness is the first step to making the changes that are going to create a more profitable and bigger and better business for you next year. Number 9, we have a culture of coaching and support in this company. Here in Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan and with Keller Williams Realty International globally. It is a coaching and training company. And I don't care how you say it, that comes from support through our various communities and a lot of one-on-one. right? The number of agents I know that are comfortable reaching out to one another to ask for help, to work through a deal, to solve a problem, to deal with an issue, whatever it is. Just take a minute and think about who helped you. Because there's a conversation coming on November 8th about who's on your team, right? And you'll hear us talk about it a lot. Jade's on your team, Sean and Don are on your team, Gina's on your team, I'm on your team, Julia, Carrie, Danielle, Sierra, Mike, Eric, Jake, we're all on your team, right? And then you have your peers or even your mentors who are on your team, right? When you hit the tough deals, who did you lean on? Because we're going to have a plan for when the going gets tough, right? And that's usually going to involve other people in your life. It could involve a coach, right? Somebody say, yeah, I got a MAPS coach, or I coach with Eric, or I have this mentor, I have this group of realtors that I associate with, I have the people that I power hour with, whatever it is. Need you to become aware of that, right? Because that is a piece of leverage for you to grow your business bigger next year. And then number 10, no drum roll required, is don't eat alone. Bring a friend, right? And this could be somebody in the office. It could be somebody in the industry out of the office. I don't care if you've got a plumber that has his own plumbing business. What we're going to talk about here is good for every business. So bring a friend. It does a couple things. It gives you the opportunity to increase, the likelihood that somebody might join our company, name you as their sponsor, and then you could earn a lifetime of residual income through profit share. That's great. The thing that it does for your business next year is that it creates another mechanism for accountability. When you come in alone, stay far, far away from the dance floor, scribble notes small in your notebook, and then sneak out without anybody knowing you're there, and you give yourself an out. And a lot of times in life, that's by design. Just don't let this be one of those times, right? Bring the peer, bring the accountability, bring somebody who is going to ask you the tough questions. Bring your spouse. I don't care. Buy them a ticket. We'll give them lunch and that's done. If they want to be in this conversation because this is the thing that is leading your family to a more prosperous future, let's get them in the room. But don't be there alone. And if you are going to be there alone, let me know. I will find you a friend. Right? So we will be sending this out as follow-up and pre-work. But guys, the more we are prepared for this conversation on the 8th, the bigger impact it will have. Right? This is the pulling back of the arrow right now before we launch it forward all the way into 2022. So screenshot it, snap it, do whatever you got to do right now, capture this and start pulling this stuff together so that we can have a conversation at a higher level come November 8th. Now, we are wrapping up a little bit early today, but stay on the line. Stay on the line right now because we need your help. I mentioned that as a part of over the summer at the end of Q2, start of Q3, we did a survey and we got some tremendous feedback from all of you about how to continue to improve the offerings and how to maximize this opportunity that we have to together create an incredible company and an incredible culture. Your feedback showed up in the form of continuing education, more social events, certification programs, changes to the team meetings, and a lot of different ways. We want to do that again. So we have more questions for you as we prepare for a monster, a magnificent 2022. We need your feedback. So guys, what you can do, this is pretty cool. We are a technology company. I'm not sure that y'all knew that. You can actually, if you're sitting at your computer, take out your phone, open up the camera, hold it to the screen over that QR code right now, and you can go take that survey Take our fall survey right now. Help us gather as much information as possible. And for those of you who are operating from a cell phone, I don't know, maybe you can just click it. Maybe you can screenshot it. Maybe right now it's opening up a link. This is the future is now. And so I'm not actually even sure how that would work. But if you're at a computer, whip out your phone, hold it to the screen, and help us continue to bring the best offerings to you all to help you grow your businesses. So we're gonna play some tunage and let you guys complete that survey with the last few minutes that we have here together. So Danielle, Maestro, take it away, please.